Look at that snow coming off the ridge. It's just like a dusting that's blowing off with the wind, with the clouds. Really pretty. To give you an idea where we were at, here's San Francisco, north of San Francisco in Marin County, this area here. As I mentioned, this is where the Trailside Killer operated years ago. So going from San Francisco to the east and south of Lake Tahoe up here, you can see where we were. I started off in Hawthorne, Nevada, and took this Highway 359 Nevada, which ties into California 167, and you just take that straight across right there to Lundy Lake. Here's a close-up of where we were. We came along this Highway 167, which ties into US 395, a busy highway. But you just go straight across the intersection, which ties into Lundy Lake Road. It goes into Lundy Canyon. This is part of the Inyo National Forest, and there's this very nice lake called Lundy Lake. And this area right in here, all in here is just has beautiful fall foliage and is promoted as such. And we hiked from the trailhead, that T, and right up into there, and that's where we were. Well, as you can see, we've got some snow on the mountains this morning. I'm heading on over into California from nearby Nevada to see what the snow situation looks like in the Sierra. This is a very well-maintained highway in Nevada, but take note of this sign because there are cattle that go across this road, especially in the wintertime. It's open range, so be aware of that. And just slow down and be aware at night that some of them are black. They're hard to see at night, so really watch out for them. And remember, if you hit one, you got to pay the owner the value. They're quite expensive nowadays. We're getting ready to go over Anchorite Pass in Nevada. Now, Highway 395 was closed going into Mammoth yesterday, but it's open today. Here it is, only mid-October, and I'm already bundled up for the cool weather. This is the start of Anchorite Pass. Here's the summit, 7,626 feet. Not much traffic out here, as you can see. From here I can see that there's some snow in the Sierra. Well, everybody, I try to keep my YouTube station on the positive side, and Kelly's not here with me today, but we are scheduled to do another adventure on our next video. And I just want to cover something. I just wanted to talk about how I'm a little incensed as an American veteran, someone who along with a lot of other people, have put their butt on the line for our country, and where we don't have freedom of speech or the right to defend ourselves. And so I know this video is going to get demonetized. It will be demonetized. I won't make any money off this video whatsoever because I'm talking about a controversial subject, and I'm also mentioning guns. So, but I just want to say about this area that we're at right here, something happened that was really disturbing, and that was I know somebody from California that was driving down this same highway, and they hit one of those range steers. Oh, excuse me, they didn't. A big truck hit a big range steer, and it was fatally injured. And they pulled up beside it, and it was bellowing in pain and just writhing, and it was really disgusting, and it was just suffering a lot. And these people from California, they're a very nice couple. I won't mention them. I know them, and they were talking about how it was so upsetting to see that range cow on the side of the highway out here suffering for so long. And the thing is that they didn't have a firearm in their vehicle, and they didn't put that animal out of its misery. They had to call into Hawthorne and have somebody in law enforcement drive out here and shoot him and put him out of his misery. So that was really sad. And then for me personally, one of the most disturbing things I've seen is when I was farming and ranching, I had part of my job, I had to go out to a big feedlot with cattle, and I'm not going to mention where it was or anything along those lines, but the person that took over the feedlot in management, she decided that all guns were evil, and so none of the crew at the feedlot had any guns for self-defense or even to put any of the animals out of their misery. And there was they had about, I think, about 2,000 head over there, and they had a big steer slip on the ice. It slipped on the ice, and it was crippled up, and it was actually dying. And I don't remember what it got into, but it was the same thing. It was just bellowing in pain, blood everywhere. It was just a real disgusting, ugly scene. And the thing that was so disturbing is that none of the crew or the cowboys, the people that worked at the feedlot, were allowed to have any guns or use guns. And so in my mind, one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in my life was the manager of the feedlot having to take a big hammer and wail away at this big steer's head and try to kill it to put it out of its misery because nobody had any guns. They weren't had any guns. And so it made, I'm just saying that these are two instances where I've seen animals suffer because people didn't allow people to have guns. Now, I do know somebody from California that does carry a gun when they travel in this area, but this couple did not, and this is where that steer was suffering. You can see what a nice, peaceful place this was, where that range steer was living its life. And you can see there's a little bit of snow on the ground and really quiet. Give a little moment of silence for all the animals that have unnecessarily suffered when they're under our care. It's a beautiful world. Look at the blue in that sky. Well, it's a really nice, cool, crisp, sunny day. A little snow on the ground, enjoying it. Coming up here on the border between California and Nevada, and I'm gonna have to pull over and do a couple things before I cross the state line. There's the California-Nevada border coming up. I have to pull off the road here before I cross the state line. That's because I'm gonna lose some of my civil rights. So I gotta stop here. There's no checkpoint, but I cannot legally cross the state line right now. Pulling off the road here on the Nevada side, make sure I'm in Nevada, not California. Pull off right here. As soon as I cross that state line into California, I'm gonna have to forfeit some of my civil rights, and I'll talk about what those are. This is interesting. the Constitution of the United States with the Declaration of Independence and the Articles of Confederation. Let's see what it says. Amendments to the Constitution of the United States of America. Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Amendment 2. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Well, I'm on the state line between Nevada and California. I'm getting ready to enter California, and I'm about to give away one of my civil rights, basic civil rights. And in the United States and America, we have a long tradition of firearms. And so I can't cross into California with my firearm unless it's off my person, unloaded, and in a box, and the ammunition separated. And so, for instance, if something happens with the highway patrol, maybe somebody who's, moving drugs on 395 and there's a big shootout with the highway patrol, I can't help them. And if I do, I'm going to get in trouble. And also it's going to take a long time to retrieve my firearm, unlock it from the box and put it all in there. So it just makes it unsafe for everyone. And also when I'm hiking in California, which has a lot of mountain lions, there's a lot of mountain lions in Black Bear, and a Nevada resident, I'm a Nevada resident, cannot open carry a gun even on forest land and the BLM land and so forth, and all the state parks in California are off limits for firearms. So what we're left with, California, you can throw a rock or stick, or you could carry a pitchfork. I like to see the governor have to do that for his security. But you can carry a large knife, but it has to be open carried so you can see it, which is kind of ridiculous because the last thing I want to do at my age is to have a hand-to-hand combat with a bear or a mountain lion. And that's what it would come down to, because especially when I'm hiking with Kelly's just not the type of person that could defend us, and it's up to me to defend both of us. And we go into some very remote places, and the thing is with bears, especially if it's a mother bear with cubs, she's not going to reason with you. They're not going to listen to words of peace and understanding. They're wild animals, and they live on instinct. And also sometimes the mountain lions, usually go after smaller people like children, but they're very quick and they come from behind, and you've got to be quick too. Imagine how strong a little house cat is, one that has those big sharp claws. Well, the mountain lions are actually the world's biggest type of a cat. They can purr, but they're also a stealthy hunter, and they can take down animals as big as deer and elk even. And they're super quick, and even the bears are super quick. You think a bear spray is going to work with a charging mama bear and the wind's blowing and that spray just dissipates? Good luck, counting on that to save your life or the life of your loved one. So anyway, I don't think it's fair that citizens from Nevada can't defend ourselves with firearms and have to use, a big knife against the cougars that are in California. And there are quite a few cougars in California. And I also don't think it's fair as a good neighbor policy that in Nevada, if you're from California and you want to get an out-of-state Nevada license, it's roughly just about double, which is not too bad. But if I'm from Nevada and I want to get a fishing license in California for the year, it's I think it's over triple the amount. I mean, that's not the good neighbor policy. But anyway, so I just think that it's a basic human right to be able to defend yourself. And I don't think it's a good neighbor policy to put us in harm's way. I would never want to injure or have to kill any wildlife. I love wildlife, but at the same time, I have a responsibility to myself and others to make sure I don't get hurt. So I don't agree with the fact that they're disarming me. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm disarming me, and I am forfeiting my civil rights under the Constitution. So before I cross into California, I have to put my firearm away. That's what I'm doing right now. So in my truck, I have a lockbox that has a heavy cable that's affixed to the frame. And then here's my box right here. Unlock this right here. Pop it open. One of the firearms I like to carry in Nevada, concealed legally, is a little 9mm short. That's the same caliber of gun that General Patton used to carry around when he wasn't carrying his big fancy revolver. These are so tiny you can fit them in a bathing suit and no one knows you're carrying. But there she is. I'm going to unload it before I enter into California. There comes the magazine. There's my spare magazines. You can see how small the 9mm short is. It's about the minimum for self-defense. Let's see, that's totally unloaded. Put that right in there. The ammo is going somewhere else. I'm gonna go see if I can find a couple big rocks before I go into California. Let's see what we can find. Let's see what I can find. I think some of these would do just fine. I'm gonna take this one. Fits in my hand pretty good. And that one. And that looks like a piece of maybe fossilized tufa, but it is pretty hard. I'm gonna grab that one too. I wanna put these rocks up here on the dash where I can get to them really quick if I need them. You'll put them like that so they don't roll. Like that, there we go. Now we're heading into California. Here's where the highway changed numbers from 359 to California 167. Some interesting cloud formations over there by Mono Lake. Oh, I don't mind. I've given up some of my rights to visit California because I'll be coming back home. And I like living in Hawthorne. It's laid back. This stretch of highway has some great scenery on it. Just a gorgeous view from the road. Well, if you're from California and you're thinking about leaving for greener pastures, as a lot of people have done in the last few years, just keep in mind that in Nevada, we do not have a state income tax, and we don't have a lot of overregulation, especially if you run a business. You can run a business here. And I can just speak for my own area that Nevada is definitely open for business, and I think you'll find a healthy business climate here, and we sure do enjoy living up here on this side. And it seems to be everything's more affordable in Nevada. There's some kind of an operation going on in the distance. I'm not sure. I don't have all the information on it. If you look to the right, but I do know that today the price of gold is $4,286.10 per ounce, and silver is passing $53.68 per ounce. So I think we're going to see a lot more mining in our area. I really love living in Nevada, and I think in general we're very friendly, and the regulations and everything are reasonable, and I think it's a good life over here. So if you're considering moving to Nevada, I would recommend it. I can't speak for Las Vegas area or Reno, but I know in the rural areas of Nevada it's very pleasant. This lake has had a constant battle of survival against the water needs of Los Angeles. It's a big stopover point for a lot of migratory waterfowl. Some of them come all the way from the far reaches of southern South America, come through here. It's a long flight for them. I stop in there, get some of the shrimp and refuel. I'm glad they're continuing to save the lake, our natural heritage. Gorgeous Lundy Canyon and Lundy Lake are straight ahead. Right before it, this road veers off and connects into US 395. Here's the intersection of US 395. I'm hoping that the road up into Lundy Lake is open so we can take a look. the road's open. That's where the gate is during the winter. Really enjoying this walk amongst the fall foliage with the fresh snow in the background. We're very close to Lundy Lake. I'm just going for a little walk through here. The aspen trees have their leaves are almost a golden yellow, but they'll start to fall once the wind picks up. We're just lucky to catch them after a snow. This is a really pretty area in here in the fall. There's a lot of really talented photographers, those that do it as a hobby, and even professionals that come in here every year to try to catch the colors here. It's such a nice spot. Made it across the little bridge there. Just love this area. Lundy Lake, and little creek that comes through here. Check out this view coming up. Glad I was able to take everybody up here to take a look. You can really see how the fallen aspen leaves, because of their dark color, are melting through the snow. It reminds me of some kind of frosting on a cookie or a cake. I'm getting hungry just talking about that. Up in those crags is where the mountain lions will hang out sometimes. They like to pounce on their prey. And if you keep going up this way, it's more forested back up in there. And that's where you'll typically find the black bear, and I dare say the elusive Sierra fox that I believe I've seen. That's a mule deer track right there. Deer in the road. There it goes. I've noticed as the farther I go up, there are no more human tracks, just tracks of wildlife. I've done a lot of hiking all over, especially in the western US. And I would say that this area has visitors. They're mostly from the Los Angeles metro area for the most part. And they seem to be very friendly, and their dogs are always well behaved. Never had any incidents hiking here. But being that I'm basically unarmed, I can tell you that in Oregon, I was attacked like 2 times with dogs in Oregon. I think the difference in the demographic was that the outdoor places were closer to maybe a lower income communities where people didn't have work at the sawmills and they were on meth, and they had these big huge dogs, and the one person, they kind of sicked their dog on me just for their entertainment. And another incident, they forced me off of a steep trail on the mountainside for no reason. So in California, I've had trouble hiking in the Chico area, in the foothills there, and also in the San Francisco Bay Area, North and Marin County. I've had some incidents just hiking my own business, and that's of course where the notorious trailside killer operated out of years ago. I've been in those same trails. I was actually on those same trails during that time period. But this area of the Eastern Sierra, I would say, it was safe for hiking as far as people for the most part. I mean, you can run across a crazy trailside killer anywhere, but for the most part, the dogs are well behaved. So really the only major problem would just be as far as, being attacked and being unarmed, or being mountain lions or a bear. Not going too far today too. Another thing to keep safe and keep in mind is if you're by yourself, don't get out too far, because you're going to be on your own in case something happens, like you twist an ankle or something. So not to be, Mr. Safety Sally or whatever you want to say, but you just have to plan ahead and, have fun, but be safe. Well, since this video is demonetized and not eligible for any of that kind of recognition, I feel I have a little bit more license to say what's more on my mind. But like I said, I like to keep it positive and keep it real and just tell the truth. And this is truthfully one gorgeous morning. There used to be a little community there years ago, and a big avalanche wiped it out. I've got a video that covers that a little bit. And we've done some hiking up in here that it actually ties into Yosemite. You can get into Yosemite. You go up here the back way to Thousand Lakes over by Tioga Pass. You can make it. It's a very strenuous hike. I wouldn't go today, too much snow. Lots of deer track around this rock. It's like a regular deer trail. There's beautiful Lundy Lake. You usually see a bald eagle up here. Maybe he's or she's moved out for the season. Got the wrong kind of footwear on today. My socks are getting wet, but my feet aren't cold. It's not that cold out. It doesn't really bother me any. But I could have brought some snow boots. And if I was going farther, some snowshoes. I'm sure it's deeper in the higher elevation. It's starting to get deeper here. I'd say it's about 8 inches now. Really encourage everybody to try to get out and get some exercise and enjoy our beautiful outdoors and come explore and look around while we're still free to do that. And hopefully while we're all still healthy enough to get around. I don't know what I'm going to do when I can't get around and get up into the mountains and into the desert as I get older. But I'm glad a lot of you subscribers, a little bit older outdoor people, are, you know, able to come with me, and you can't get out like you used to. And I'm honored to share our beautiful country, the beauty that it holds with you. In this spot, I would say the snow is pushing 10 inches now. Yeah, that's a good 10 inches, maybe a foot. Here's a known avalanche field. It's just starting to get a little bit of snow on it, like the frosting on the cake. There's a good 10 inches of snow on this part, and it kind of does look like Montana to me. I remember being in the service, in the Navy, and meeting another sailor who corrected me about his name. He said, "My name is not Old Coyote, it's Old Coyote." Turns out he was the grandson of Chief Old Coyote of the Absaroki people, the Crow Nation in eastern Montana. And his grandfather's the one that came up with the flag for the Crow Nation. But that's a good group of people up there, the Crow people. I really like them. Met a lot of different people in my travels and my service in the Navy. Sure does kind of look like Montana with that snow today. I hear the creek. I think I'll plow through this second avalanche field, and this is where they form. There's going to be one this winter. This is one of the places. I'm just going to keep on going for a little ways more. Call it good. Tracking a coyote through here. He's kind of dragging his feet. There's the beaver pond in the distance. It's one of my favorite places to hang out, especially in the summertime. Let's head back down and get some lunch. A lot faster going down, of course, even though the snow is about a foot. Beautiful fall colors up here. Trust me, going up that mountain, it's a lot steeper than it looks. It'll take your breath away. Almost back to the truck. Time for some lunch. There's no cookie clip this week because Kelly's not here with us, but she will be on the next adventure. I'm sure we'll have some great cookies to show and share, but I will show you what I do have for lunch. Most all of this is homegrown. This is grape juice from white grapes. Of course, there's some nice fall grapes there. And here's some pinyon pines from Nevada, the pinyon nuts. And these apples are from Kelly's orchard in Hawthorne, Nevada. These actually are from California. They're Blue Diamond almonds. I love these. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to get them anymore because they shut down the packing plant in Sacramento. Back to Hawthorne. Well, we're back home in the beautiful state of Nevada. I'm glad you could all join me. The beautiful Sierra, seeing the fall color in the snow. I think it was a good time. I had a nice little hike. I enjoyed it. We'll see you next time, everybody. Slow down a little bit at night and be careful. Nice big herd of antelope. Look at that. Wonderful.